Limloss.org, educating, enabling, and empowering the amputee community.
During your last appointment, the check socket fitting, you and your practitioner worked on the fit and comfort of the socket in a stationary position. Now, during the dynamic alignment, you're working on the fit and function of your prosthesis in a dynamic environment, meaning you're walking and taking your very first steps in your prosthesis. This is a huge deal. The take-home point is that this appointment is all about how the prosthesis feels. Keep that in mind as the tutorial video proceeds. The purpose of the dynamic alignment is also to align the socket and foot. That's why it's called a dynamic alignment. By the time the appointment is over, you should be able to take comfortable, natural steps in your prosthesis. One thing we've got to talk about for a quick moment is that it's completely normal to be a bit emotional during this appointment. In fact, you'll probably be filled with a bunch of conflicting emotions, and that's okay. When it's all said and done, you've got to realize you've been through a lot. These first few steps, even though they're probably few and very exhausting, represent a bit of victory over the adversity you've faced. You should embrace that and celebrate the fact that you're walking again. Here's what to expect during your dynamic alignment. First, you'll don your prosthesis and start in the parallel bars, taking very small, slow steps and getting a feel for things while your practitioner is observing both the way you walk and the alignment of the prosthesis. Since this is your first steps, it's going to feel really, really weird. Now, your practitioner is trained to know what to look for and to make the necessary adjustments to fix it. This is a trial and error process. Together, you'll make an adjustment and test it out. Then another adjustment and test it out over and over and over. As the appointment proceeds, your gait should improve little by little while the prosthesis begins to feel better and more natural. Here's a quick tip. While the practitioner is trained in the dynamic alignment process, you've got to realize that you're an active participant too. After all, it's your leg, isn't it? The practitioner will ask you many questions about how the prosthesis feels, and they rely heavily on your feedback to make the necessary adjustments. Here's the irony about rehabbing from an amputation. If this is your first time walking with a prosthesis, you don't necessarily know how it should feel, and yet the practitioner relies on your feedback. At this point, the best thing you can do is be as honest, descriptive, and constructive as possible. This means tell the practitioner what you feel, not necessarily what they want to hear. I've seen many new amputees make the mistake of telling the practitioner what they want to hear. That's a bad communication habit, and remember, the prosthetic process is all about communication. Here are another couple of things we need to address really quickly. Not every practitioner practices prosthetics in the same way, so your experiences may vary from the progression of these tutorial videos. For example, you may conduct the check socket fitting and the dynamic alignment during the same appointment. Another common occurrence is that you and your practitioner might also try a few different prosthetic feet to see which type works best for you. And that's a practice here at limloss.org that we recommend. It's also becoming a more common practice for you to try your check socket at home for a few days, where you can really get a good feel for it in your home environment without being watched the entire time you're using it. After all, you tend to walk differently when you know you're being watched than when you're not. But any way you slice it, by the end of your dynamic alignment appointment, you and your practitioner should feel really confident about the prosthesis moving forward to your final fitting.
Be sure to check out the next tutorial video in our series entitled The Final Fitting. We'll show you what to expect at the appointment and how to best be prepared. Limloss.org, educating, enabling, and empowering the amputee community.